The Principality of Galicia-Volhynia, or Kingdom of Ruthenia, was a state in the regions of Galicia and Volhynia of present-day Ukraine, that was formed after the conquest of Galicia by the Prince of Volhynia Roman the Great with the help of Leszek the White of Poland. Roman the Great united the principalities of Halych and Volhynia into a state that existed from 1199 to 1349. Along with Novgorod and Vladimir-Suzdal, it was one of the three most important powers to emerge from the collapse of Kievan Rus. After the enormous destruction wreaked by the Mongol invasion of Kievan Rus in 1239–41, Prince Danylo Romanovych was forced to pledge allegiance to Batu Khan of the Golden Horde in 1246. He strove to rid his realm of the Mongol yoke, however, by a formal orientation to Western Europe and by attempting, unsuccessfully, to establish military alliances with other European rulers. The Polish conquest of the kingdom in 1349 ended its vassalage to the Golden Horde. Western Galicia-Volhynia extended between the rivers San and Dnieper in what is now southeastern Poland, while eastern territories covered the Pripyat marshes and upper southern Bug in modern-day Ukraine. During its time, the kingdom was bordered by Black Rose, the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, the Principality of Turow-Pinsk, the Principality of Kiev, the Golden Horde, the Kingdom of Hungary, the Kingdom of Poland, the Principality of Moldova, and the monastic state of the Teutonic Knights. History. Tribal area. In pre-Roman times the region was populated by various tribes, including the Lugi, Goths, and Vandals. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the area was populated by West Slav people identified with a group called Lendians. Around 833 the West Slavs became part of the Great Moravian state. Upon the invasion of the Hungarian tribes into the heart of the Great Moravian Empire around 899, the Lendians of the area found themselves under the influence of the Hungarian Empire. The whole area was inhabited by White Croats and called White Croatia. The capital of the duchy was Stilsko. In 955 the area seems to have constituted part of the Bohemian state. Around 970 it was included in the Polish state. The area was mentioned in 981, when Vladimir the Great of Kievan Rus took over on his way into Poland. He founded the city of Vladimir and later Christianized the locals. The area returned to Poland in 1018 and in 1031 was retaken by Rus. The territory was settled by the East Slavs from the early Middle Ages and, in the 12th century, the wreaked Principality of Halych was formed by descendants of Vladimir. It merged at the end of the 12th century with the neighboring Principality of Volhynia into the Principality of Galicia-Volhynia, which existed for a century and a half. Rise and apogee. Volhynia and Galicia had originally been two separate wreaked principalities, assigned on a rotating basis to younger members of the Kievan dynasty. The line of Prince Roman the Great of Vladimir in Volhynia had held the Principality of Volhynia, while the line of Yaroslav Osmomysl held the Principality of Halych. Galicia-Volhynia was created following the death in 1198 or 1199 of the last Prince of Galicia, Vladimir II Yaroslavich. Roman acquired the Principality of Galicia and united his lands into one state. Roman successors would mostly use Halych as the designation of the combined kingdom. In Romans' time, Galicia-Volhynia's principal cities were Halych and Vladimir in Volhynia. In 1204 he captured Kiev. Roman was allied with Poland, signed a peace treaty with Hungary, and developed diplomatic relations with the Byzantine Empire. At the height of his reign, he briefly became the most powerful of the Rus princes. He married the niece of the Byzantine Emperor Alexios III, for whom Galicia was the main military ally against the Cumans. The relation with Byzantium helped to stabilize Galicia's relations with the Rusian population of the lower Dniester and the lower Danube. In 1205, Roman turned against his Polish allies, leading to a conflict with Leszek the White and Conrad of Masovia. Roman was subsequently killed in the Battle of Zawichost, and his dominion entered a period of rebellion and chaos. Thus weakened, Galicia-Volhynia became an arena of rivalry between Poland and Hungary. King Andrew II of Hungary styled himself Rex Galiciae Lodomerii, Latin for King of Galicia and Vladimir, a title that later was adopted in the Habsburg Empire. In a compromise agreement made in 1214 between Hungary and Poland, the throne of Galicia-Volhynia was given to Andrew's son, Koloman of Lodomeria, who had married Leszek the White's daughter, Salomia. In 1221, Mstislav Mstislavich, son of Mstislav Rostislavich, liberated Galicia-Volhynia from the Hungarians, but it was Danylo Romanovych, son of Roman, who formed a real union of Volhynia and Galicia. In 1239 and 1242 he captured Kiev, attempting to become the Grand Prince of all Rus, but he lost the city the first time after a few weeks, the second after a year. Danylo defeated the Polish and Hungarian forces in the Battle of Yaroslav and crushed their ally Rostislav Mikhailovich, son of the Prince of Chernigov, in 1245. He also strengthened his relations with Batu Khan by traveling to his capital Sarai and acknowledging, at least nominally, the supremacy of the Mongol Golden Horde. After meeting with Batu Khan, Danylo reorganized his army along Mongol lines and equipped it with Mongolian weapons. Although Danylo himself maintained the traditional attire of a Rus prince, Danylo's alliance with the Mongols was merely tactical. He pursued a long-term strategy of resistance to the Mongols. In 1245, Pope Innocent IV allowed Danylo to be crowned king. Danylo wanted more than recognition, commenting bitterly that he expected an army when he received the crown. Although Danylo promised to promote recognition of the Pope to his people, his realm continued to be ecclesiastically independent from Rome. Thus, Danylo was the only member of the Rurik dynasty to have been crowned king. Danylo was crowned by the papal legate Opiso de Mezzano in Dorihich in 1253 as the first king of all Rus. In 1256, Danylo succeeded in driving the Mongols out of Volhynia, and a year later he defeated their attempt to capture the cities of Leszek and Volodymyr-Volynski. Upon the approach of a large army under the Mongolian general Boril I in 1260, however, Danylo was forced to accept their authority and to raise the fortifications he had built against them. Under Danylo's reign, Galicia-Volhynia was one of the most powerful states in East-Central Europe. Literature flourished, producing the Galician Volhynian Chronicle. Demographic growth was enhanced by immigration from the west and the south, including Germans and Armenians. Commerce developed due to trade routes linking the Black Sea with Poland, Germany, and the Baltic Basin. Major cities which served as important economic and cultural centers included Lvov, Vladimir in Volhynia, Gallic-Combe, Peremyshal, Troichin, and Terabovlia. Galicia-Volhynia was important enough that in 1252 Danylo was able to marry his son Roman to the heiress of the Austrian duchy in the vain hope of securing it for his family. Another son, Shvan, married a daughter of Mindaugas, Lithuania's first king, and briefly ruled the land from 1267 to 1269. At the peak of its expansion, the Galician Volhynian state contained not only southwestern Rus lands, including Red Rus and Black Rus, but also briefly controlled the Brodnichi on the Black Sea. After Danylo's death in 1264, he was succeeded by his son Lev, who moved the capital to Lviv in 1272 and for a time maintained the strength of Galicia Volhynia. Unlike his father, who pursued a Western political course, Lev worked closely with the Mongols, in particular cultivating a close alliance with the Batu Khan Nogai. Together with his Mongol allies, he invaded Poland. However, although his troops plundered territory as far west as Rasobors, sending many captives and much booty back to Galicia, Lev did not ultimately gain much territory from Poland. Lev also attempted, unsuccessfully, to establish his family's rule over Lithuania. Soon after, his brother Shvan ascended to the Lithuanian throne in 1267. He had the former Lithuanian ruler Vaisvykas killed. Following Shvan's loss of the throne in 1269, Lev entered into conflict with Lithuania. From 1274 to 76 he fought a war with the new Lithuanian ruler Traianus but was defeated, and Lithuania annexed the territory of Black Ruthenia with its city Novgorod. In 1279, Lev allied himself with King Wenceslaus II of Bohemia and invaded Poland, although his attempt to capture Kraków in 1280 ended in failure. That same year, Lev defeated Hungary and annexed part of Transcarpathia, including the city of Mukachevo. In 1292, he defeated Poland and added Lublin with surrounding areas to the territory of Galicia Volhynia. Decline and fall. After Lev's death in 1301, a period of decline ensued. Lev was succeeded by his son Yuri I, who ruled for only 7 years. Although his reign was largely peaceful and Galicia Volhynia flourished economically, Yuri I lost Lublin to the Poles in 1302 and Transcarpathia to the Hungarians. From 1308 until 1323, Galicia Volhynia was jointly ruled by Yuri I's sons Andrei and Lev II, who proclaimed themselves to be the kings of Galicia and Volhynia. The brothers forged alliances with King Vladislav I of Poland and the Teutonic Order against the Lithuanians and the Mongols. But the kingdom was still tributary to the Mongols and joined the Mongol military expeditions of Uzbeg Khan and his successor, Janabeg Khan. The brothers died together in 1323, in battle, fighting against the Mongols, and left no heirs. After the extinction of the Rurikid dynasty in Galicia Volhynia in 1323, Volhynia passed into the control of the Lithuanian Principalities, while the Boyars took control over Galicia. They invited the Polish Prince Bolesław Yuri II, a grandson of Yuri I, to assume the Galician throne. Bolesław converted to Orthodoxy and assumed the name Yuri II. Nevertheless, suspecting him of harboring Catholic feelings, the Boyars poisoned him in 1340 and elected one of their own, Dmitry Ditko, to lead the Galician state. In winter 1341, Tatars, Ruthenians led by Ditko, and Lithuanians led by Lubartas were able to defeat the Poles, although they were not so successful in summer 1341. Finally, Ditko was forced to accept Polish overlordship as of Starost of Halych. After Ditko's death, Poland's King Casimir III mounted a successful invasion, capturing and annexing Galicia in 1349. Galicia Volhynia ceased to exist as an independent state. Danylo's dynasty attempted to gain support from Pope Benedict XII and broader European powers for an alliance against the Mongols, but ultimately proved unable to compete with the rising powers of the centralized Grand Duchy of Lithuania and the Kingdom of Poland. Only in 1349, after the occupation of Galicia Volhynia by an ally allied Polish-Hungarian force, was the Kingdom of Galicia-Volhynia, finally conquered and incorporated in Poland. This ended the vassalage of Galicia-Volhynia to the Golden Horde. From 1340 to 1392, the civil war in the region transitioned into a power struggle between Lithuania, Poland, and Hungary. The first stage of conflict led to the signing of a treaty in 1344 that secured the Principality of Peremyśl for the Crown of Poland, while the rest of the territory belonged to a member of the Gediminas family, Lubartas. Eventually, by the mid-14th century, the Kingdom of Poland and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania divided up the region between them. King Casimir III took Galicia and Western Volhynia, while the sister state of Eastern Volhynia together with Kiev came under Lithuanian control. 1352–66. After 1352, most of the Ruthenian voivodeship belonged to the Crown of the Polish Kingdom, where it remained also after the union of Lublin between Poland and Lithuania. The present-day town of Halych is situated 5 kilometers away from the ancient capital of Galicia, on the spot where the river port of the old town was located, and where King Lubartas of Galicia-Volhynia constructed a wooden castle in 1367. By the Treaty of the Union of Lublin of 1569, all of the former Principality of Galicia-Volhynia became part of Poland. In 1772, Empress Maria Theresa of Austria revived the old Hungarian claims to the Kingdom of Galicia and Lodomeria, using them to justify the participation of Austria in the partitions of Poland. Historical role. The Galician Volhynian Chronicle reflected the political program of the Romanovych dynasty ruling Galicia-Volhynia. Galicia-Volhynia competed with other successor states of Kievan Rus to claim the Kievan inheritance. According to the Galician Volhynian Chronicle, Galicia-Volhynia's King Danylo was the last ruler of Kiev preceding the Mongolian invasion, and thus Galicia-Volhynia's rulers were the only legitimate successors to the Kievan throne. Until the end of Galician Volhynian state, its rulers advanced claims upon all the land of Rus. The seal of King Ure I contained the Latin inscription Domini Georgi Regis Rusi, in contrast to the consistent secular or political claims to the Kievan inheritance. Galicia's rulers were not concerned by religious succession. This differentiated them from the rivals in Vladimir-Suzdal, who sought to and attained control over the Kievan Church. Rather than contest Vladimir-Suzdal's dominance of the Kievan Church, Galicia-Volhynia's rulers merely asked for and obtained a separate church from Byzantium. Galicia-Volhynia also differed from the northern and eastern principalities of the former Kievan Rus in terms of its relationship with its western neighbors. King Danylo was alternatively an ally or a rival with neighboring Slavic Poland and partially Slavic Hungary. According to historian George Vernadsky, Galicia-Volhynia, Poland and Hungary belonged to the same psychological and cultural world. The Roman Catholic Church was seen as a neighbor, and there was much intermarriage between the princely houses of Galicia and those of neighboring Catholic countries. In contrast, the Westerners faced by Alexander, Prince of Novgorod, were the Teutonic Knights, and the northeastern Rus experience of the West was that of hostile crusaders rather than peers. Division. Principality of Halych, Principality of Peremyśl, Principality of Novgorod, Principality of Trebovlia, Principality of Volhynia, Principality of Leszek, Principality of Tora, Principality of Peremyśl, Principality of Belz, Land of Chelm, Land of Bereshcha, Temporary Principality of Kiev, Principality of Tora, Black Ruthenia, Zakarpattia, Rulers 1199 to 1205 Roman the Great 1205 to 1214 Political crisis 1205 to 1206 Euphrosyne Angelina as a regent for Daniel of Galicia 1206 to 1211 Children of Igor Sviatoslavich 1210 Rostislav II of Kiev 1211 to 1212 Mstislav the Mute as a regent for Daniel of Galicia 1212 to 1214 Uprising led by Boyar Volodislav Kormilchich 1214 to 1232 Hungarian occupation Sons of Andrew II of Hungary 1214 to 1220 Koloman son of Andrew 1220 Uprising led by Mstislav the Prosperous 1220 to 1232 Andras of Galicia son of Andrew 1232 to 1235 Daniel of Galicia 1235 to 1238 Children of Michael of Chernigov 1238 to 1264 Daniel of Galicia 1264 to 1269 Dual power descendants of Daniel chapters 1264 to 1269 Shvan 1264 to 1300 Lev I of Galicia 1300 to 1308 Uri I of Galicia 1308 to 1323 Dual power descendants of Uri 1308 to 1323 Lev II of Galicia 1308 to 1323 Andrew of Galicia 1323 to 1349 Political crisis de facto ruled by Boyar Dmytro Dedko 1323 to 1325 Galicia Volodymyr I of Galicia Volhynia Lubartas 1325 to 1340 Uri II Boleslav 1340 Occupation of Galicia by Casimir III the Great Start of War 1341 to 1349 Lubartas 1349 Galicia occupied by Poland and Hungary Volhynia Lithuania